And what do I need to do next? This bit here. Headphones.
I'm replaying Dead Space 3 now.
Hello, everybody. Have I given this No, I haven't given it right title. So
you're up against Ian A and Phil, don't you?
Don't care. All I care about is that my voice is echoing in the background with your thing.
Hold on, I'll put some headphones on. Stop you fucking whining.
The only way I can make this better is if, like, you know, there was some copyrighted music in the background. And whenever I play something I want to listen to, skip over it.
Is that better?
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks. Looking forward to getting a brand new masonry drill bit next week. So,
you want to buy those Bosch all-purpose bits? They're really, really good.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but
they do tiles, wood, masonry. They're not even that dear either, to be honest.
Well, I've got funny enough, I've ordered some hardwood drill bits and they're from Bosch. Bosch. And but I'm also getting a masonry drill bit by Ching Chong Chinky Lang Company. And, I need one because I've got these. When the double glazing fitters came in, they had these really, I want to say beautiful, because the amount of precision engineering that goes into these screws is something else. And they've got two threads on them. They've got like this big outer thread, which is supposed to grip onto the masonry, and the smaller inner one, which I don't know what it does if the outer one's doing it, but there's like no need for a wall plug. And then as I found out, there is such a thing called a wall plug, and that's a trademark. Because for years I got confused.
That's like doing the hoovering of it.
Yeah, that's it, doing the hoover. But no, I'm thinking, what's like other sort of things like, oh, I know.
Stanley knife. Stanley knife is another one.
But no, like there's like brand names of things like which sound similar to the real thing, but aren't like I want to say Cool Whip. No, but there's probably like Cheez-Its or so. You know, like food like substances where.
It's utterly. What's the fucking knockoff? I can't believe it's not butter. What's that? What's the? Because don't Lidl do it?
I can't believe it's not margarine.
Yeah, it really isn't butter. It absolutely, it's not.
Yeah, it's usually the sort of like variations on that thing, and but anyway, I'm gonna go brum, and my gearbox is all the way. Well, I should say the gear selector switch is all the way over there, and it's a bit of a hassle to get to. So let's go and take.
And I'm replaying Dead Space 3.
I've been replaying Sniper Elite 4 at the moment. I've been enjoying that actually. That's been good. Oh,
love me Dead Space.
That's a fun one. Hot chemicals.
Love Dead Space 8 Necromorphs.
Is this a bit like when you had the Chronicles of Riddick, and then there was like this weird one where they're like, we need to do a sequel which is weird and it's got all this extra stuff in it, and I don't know why they do it, but they did.
Why do people shit on Riddick? I really don't.
Well, like the first film was good, but then I watched the Critical Drinker talking about the second one, and I was like, so that's why I didn't like the second one. Because I did like the second one, but at the same time I was like, I don't understand what the hell's going on here, and why is this planet so bloody hot and so cold? And then I just thought to myself, who cares? All it is basically just like a good old romp, and it's... speaking of a good old romp, I saw like a perfect example of a good old romp, even though I dislike the actor. Jason Statham in Crank and Crank 2, the Crankening.
How can you dislike Jason Statham?
Because he's a mockney geezer, innit? He's just... It's like...
He's Shag Kelly Brook.
Who's stolen my strawberry tart? Because, have you ever seen the events in Crank and Crank 2?
Yes, it's a massively highbrow plot that I think your audience will struggle to get their heads around.
Yeah, so for the benefit of my audience, let me explain the Citizen Kane of our time. Crank was released in 2006. It's probably a glorified advert for Monster energy drink and Well, Red Bull was featured in there as well.
Cocaine.
Methamphetamine and sex in public. And what it is the story of this guy, Jason Statham, playing himself, Jason Statham, and the Chinese have decided, we really dislike you for the Opium War, so we're going to poison you. And then he wakes up and he's like, oh, I'm feeling really bad. And then he's got this mobile phone with a really bad ringtone. That's relevant to the plot, by the way. It's a horrible ringtone. And so he rings up his mate and he says, yeah, so, like, you've got this Chinese poison in you, and if you don't do a bunch of illegal stuff, you're gonna die. He didn't say to him, do a bunch of illegal stuff, you're gonna die.
Crank one's the heart, isn't it?
They're both about his heart. The crank one is like, if your heart rate goes below a certain amount, you'll die. So you got to do things to keep your heart rate going up. And then sort of later on in the film, it's like, hey, none of this stuff's working anymore. It's like, yeah, so, you know, you've been doing a lot of stuff that makes your adrenaline burn out, so you're going to need to get some synthetic adrenaline. You go to the hospital and get some epinephrine. And so he goes and gets some epinephrine in the hospital. And he goes sort of superhuman for a bit. It's quite funny. And the end of the film, there's like a fight with some Mexican dude because Chinese poisoned him, so you got to fight a Mexican, I don't know. And they fall out of a helicopter, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's the end of that film. But then Crank 2 High Voltage happens, and the Chinkies are like, this guy is he's really gone. You know, it turns out his heart is compatible with our triad boss, who's over 100 years old. Yeah, he won his heart. So they take out Jason Statham's heart, which happens to be genetically compatible with some old Chinese dude, which is interesting. And then they give him an artificial heart, which is made out of reliable Chinese technology. So this Chinese like heart, it's got a small battery pack inside his body, which will last about an hour, and then you've got like a wireless port where you can recharge it. And he does a car crash, and his external battery pack is broken, and he rings up his doctor dude and it's like, oh, my fucking external battery pack's broke, what do I do? So you're gonna need ways to like increase your heart rate. One of the things you can do is like friction, rubbing your skin contact and stuff. That's gonna make your heart, it's gonna charge up your heart. So like you should do that. So he just starts like, he's at a horse race, and he starts like rubbing and grinding up against people. And actually, it's funny because one of the outtakes of the scene is like Jason Statham starts laughing when he's rubbing his arm up against this other bloke. It's just like, I can't keep a straight face. Fuck.
Fucking hell, John.
Oh,
I'm a Cockney geezer, I am.
This is an iron oath. I can't do it. So yeah, he goes around and he finds like various ways to plug electricity into his body, like including like just climbing up to a telegraph.
Isn't there that really weird bit where he goes absolutely giant, or he thinks he's gone absolutely giant? Or something?
Yeah, because they're in a substation, and him and like another bloke like touch high power mains cables and die. But they don't die. They have a Gojira
you
versus.
That sound like a euphemism for something. Him and another bloke were touching high power mains cables.
Oh yeah, well this is another thing. Like he sort of like goes like he's in a fight with the police, and then his heart runs out of power, and they're beating him, and then like the lady cop actually uses her taser for once and tasers him, and then he gets like reinvigorated and beats off.
She weren't that one from the other week, was she? Yeah.
No, it's certainly not. And so yeah, and then he just starts beating them all, and then he's going around and he keeps like tasering himself in the balls, because that's definitely a way to like recharge your Chinese artificial heart, is you put a shock prod against your balls. Oh, yeah. and then he finds like a Thai prostitute who loves him long time.
I think whoever wrote this must have been like an ex-doctor or something, because it was like absolutely the medical knowledge involved needed for Crank is just second to none, isn't it?
The thing is, it's like Michael Crichton could not have done a better job researching all the background medical stuff. It's so good. And in the chat, Gary Garner's Stack of Ribs says, "Is this lorry going to Glasgow by any chance?" No, I'm driving from Italy to France, so...
She's fucking dead, you cunt. You're fucking laughing, Gary.
You're fucking laughing. She's fucking
You're
dead.
laughing and she's fucking dead.
He saw the life go out in her eyes, and you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about Crank, which I really liked, is that Jason Statham's girlfriend in it is really nice. And then, 3 months passed
she's been in quite a few things, hasn't she?
Well, 3 months passed from Crank 1 to Crank 2. And I think also Crank means like this cranking one out. Because in Crank 2, his girlfriend's a stripper. And she said, "I saw you fall out that helicopter and you died. That was 3 months ago, I got bills to pay." I was like, 3 fucking months? I enjoy my job. And she does enjoy her job. She's actually quite a nice woman. She's not bitchy at all, and she's quite pretty. So I don't blame her for being a stripper. And then you
I'm
end
trying
up
to think what she's been in, but I can't remember.
And they end up having sex in public in both films because it's like, I'm gonna die unless I shag you.
Which one's the racetrack? Is that 1 or 2?
That's in 2. Yeah, he shags her on the racetrack, and the horses are galloping towards them. Oh, and the horses gallop towards them, and she's on the back, and this horse leaps over them. And in no uncertain terms to let you know it's a stallion, but I'm pretty sure horses when galloping don't have a full mass direction. That was a nice scene I didn't need to see. It was just, thanks. It was a good film, but you have to accept it's like saying that.
I quite like Jason Statham. I don't think he's unlikable.
I say it's a good film, but it's a good film in the same way like the kebab I had last night really hit the spot.
I watched the other day. I went old school. I watched Steven Seagal Marked for Death.
Oh yeah, that is a classic. I've been watching some of the Jean-Claude Van Damme ones. But
what have you been watching?
Universal Soldier and
I saw that in the cinema. I bet that's how old I am.
Time Cop, yeah, it was all right.
Time Cop I didn't get till it was on video. I wish I'd have watched it because that's based on a Dark Horse comic.
Oh yeah, well it was all right, but like I'm saying, that like the kebab I had last night, it filled a hole. No one's going to call it Michelin-starred cooking, and Crank, it filled a hole.
I think my favourite ever review of something was when somebody watched the A-Team. I think it was Floyd Hilton, I can't remember his fucking name. He said the problem with the A-Team movie was there wasn't any character development.
It's like saying
critics, they need to be, done. Words within Minecraft, don't they?
I'm surprised there's like a market where people get paid to be a critic. I mean, like someone like the Critical Drinker, he's entertaining and stuff like that. Because there's people like seriously reviewing Kong vs Godzilla. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, can you imagine Mark Kermode reviewing it? It's like, oh, this film wasn't very highbrow.
While I was watching that Mauler, about 9 hours of like review of the Last Jedi, Mark Kermode actually liked the Last Jedi, and I thought, why am I not surprised he liked the Last Jedi?
It's sad because Mark Kermode did this thing where it's like, this is one of my favourite films of all time, so I think got like convinced Channel 4 to replay it, and he was doing like this whole intro to Escape from New York, and then I watched it and I was like, this is a really good film, and then I sort of like realised how good John Carpenter is as a film director. So
do you remember when what's his name? Alex something his name is. He was the guy that did you seen the other Repo Man?
Is that the one with Denzel Washington in it?
No, there's a film called Repo Man, and it's got Emilio Estevez.
No, I haven't seen it.
Emilio Estevez is in it, and also Harry Dean Stanton.
Is Emilio Estevez the one in Hawaii 5? Oh no, I'm thinking of Eric Estrada.
No, Emilio Estevez is Charlie Sheen's brother.
Oh, Mark Kermode, more like the chat says.
Kermode, yeah, you have to call him Mark Kermode because he hates that.
Oh yeah, I've been watching. Speaking of Eric Estrada, I've been watching C-Lab 2021, seeing as it's now the year of the titular show, and Eric Estrada's in
C-Lab 2021. Is that anything like? Oh fuck! What's the other film? Is that the one with the nuclear submarine? Sequest DSV.
Yeah, that also was shit. I don't know why, like, every sort of sci-fi thing about the sea is really bad. I can't think of.
Yeah, I mean, why can't we have a decent Captain Nemo movie?
I can't think of one good underwater film I've seen. I mean, Das Boot was. I watched it when I was seriously spurging about submarines.
Did you like The Abyss?
I've not seen it, but it sounded like a horror films, and usually I don't watch them. Like, I watched The Thing because what's his name directed it.
No, The Abyss has got what's his name? The Abyss is James Cameron movie.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching The Thing, like, about like all the injuries
because they spent absolutely loads on like late 80s CGI effects water creature.
Well, they had like
it's got Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio in it. Do you remember?
I was watching all the problems with they had with the production and stuff. I've never seen the film, but in terms of production, it's amazing nobody died.
The Abyss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they do a lot of actual effects?
There was a lot of underwater scenes, and it was in this big town. I can't remember where I saw it, but there was just like, if you go on YouTube and you search for the Abyss production, and it'll tell you about all the troubles of the film. It might have even been the Critical Drinker that did a thing about it. You know,
I haven't heard him talk about the Abyss. He talked about Superman Lives, didn't he? Because there's a documentary called The Death of Superman Lives, isn't there?
Oh, okay.
When Nick Cage is Superman, when Nick Cage was supposed to be Superman.
Oh wow, that would have been interesting.
And Kevin Smith did the first treatment of the script.
Yeah, not sure about that. Not sure.
Superman, it'll just be like, Superman, I'll totally sucked fucking Bruce Wayne's dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, not sure. Not sure indeed. No, I can't think of a decent underwater movie. I don't think one's been. I mean, Hunt for Red October, but that's more like about submarines and stuff. Anyway, C-Lab 2021 is a cartoon, and it's a parody remix of C-Lab 2020. And in fact, one of the episodes in season 2 is a.
Do you like the Venture Brothers?
No.
You don't?
Dave tried to get me to watch it, and I was just like, no, it wasn't Dave. It was somebody else actually. And I watched it, and I was just like, I can't get into this. Which is a shame.
You see, you don't really remember like the old Johnny Quest cartoons and stuff like that, because I
do remember the Johnny Quest cartoons.
It's nostalgia mixed in with a lot of parody, isn't it?
I do remember the Johnny Quest cartoons, and I remember how much I disliked them. And I especially disliked the forced meme of like trying to show Mike Pence as the guy from Johnny Quest, and it's like Mike Pence de-gaying the Indians and whatever, and it's just like, no, that was a shit show, and Mike Pence is not a great guy that you keep trying to meme it. I mean, imagine if someone's trying to do memes about how great that Ed Miliband was.
How great.
I just remember Charlie Brooker when he was doing his thing. It's like his campaign. This is around about the time of Obama. It's like his campaign needs to be just because that's what he likes to say a lot. C-Lab 2021.
Saying Charlie Brooker's such a massive shit lib, isn't it?
What with being married to a Packy Bird and all? God,
yeah.
Who would have thunk it? But yeah, so C-Lab 2021. C-Lab 2021 is like in the style of Venture Brothers. Eric Estrada's in it. MC Chris is in it as well, and he plays this character called Hesh, and just his voice makes me laugh every time I think of it.
MC Chris did the theme music for Smodcast, didn't he?
Yeah.
Smith's podcast.
And he did like this thing like MCP pants.
Is he MC Chris or is he Muck Chris?
He's MC Chris, and he's also MCP pants, the 10-year-old rap god. I want taffy, bubblegum and candy. Anyway, it's a good show. I like it, and they actually do a proper like.
You've been a listener to Smodcast or anything?
No, and they
Kevin
do.
Smith
They
puts
do.
out there.
No, they do a proper episode. They get the script for C-Lab 2020. They get all the voice actors from 2020 line to voice it, and it's about this cargo submarine which is nuclear powered, and it crashes, and so Captain Murphy and his crew managed to contain the reactor and pump coolant into it, saving the day. And I was watching it with my friend, and he said, "Can you imagine how did Hanna-Barbera like that? I'm sure they've got target audiences, and it's like, yeah, we're going to do this cartoon about adventure, and okay, who's it aimed at? We're not sure, because we're watching it. It was just like there was nothing interesting about the show, and it was weird, and it was boring, and it was highbrow, and it was just like it was crap. I mean, they literally said, like, the guy who made it, it's like, yeah, so we were looking at, when we were working at Cartoon Network, old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, to try and find the most boring Hanna-Barbera cartoon we could, and that's when we found C-Lab 2020. Ah, shit, I missed my turning. I should have gone off there. Okay, well, I'm going on this
I've
route.
never watched C-Lab 2020.
You didn't miss much. It really is bad. But C-Lab 2021 is funny. So it wants me to go there. So, oh, well, that's okay. I'm just going to go past...
What do you like about the Venture Bros then? Because I think it's quite funny.
I watched a couple of episodes of it, and it just, like, It just
not your humour?
It just didn't do anything for me. I mean, have you ever seen, like, Death Clock, Metalocalypse?
No.
That would have been around about the same time, and that I really liked, because they didn't take itself seriously.
How about Afro Samurai? Did you ever watch that?
God, no. No, I just... it's like... Oh, I mean, my cousin got me to watch Boondock Saints, and I was like, oh, no, hang on, it's not... No, it's called the Boondocks. And I said, oh, is it anything to do with, like...
Yeah, because Boondock Saints is a film.
Yeah, and I said, is it anything to do with Boondock Saints? It's no, completely different. And that's where you got the character Uncle Ruckus in it.
Yeah, I have heard about Boondocks.
It's so funny. There's even a scene in it which Terry Davis would approve of, called I've got to sneeze. Oh, it's better. Yeah, I decided I was going to tidy up the room as well, and I've been brushing down the walls, and stone walls, and you know what? I can understand why people go to the effort of putting plaster in now, because as pretty as stone walls are, they make a lot of dust. But yeah, there's a scene in it with it's actually Samuel Jackson is the voice actor, and they're talking about nigger technology, and they were saying about, you see, if you can't attach a printer in it, then it's for niggers. So technology, when you actually get shit done and do stuff and you can print out, and it's for work and it makes you money. But that mobile phone you got, no, it wasn't a mobile phone, it was a two-way pager. Back before mobile phones just had text messaging integrated into it. And he just said, it's useless nigger shit. It's just stuff for niggers so they can waste their money on it. And this show was saying a lot of stuff which would not pass muster today, but was actually really quite accurate, because, yeah, I believe these days that would just be classed as a smartphone, and it's built for consuming content. You can't really create much with it apart from recording stuff on the camera. So what's my fuel consumption at the moment? It is 34.6 litres per 100 kilometres. That's pretty good. I've asked for some help in moving furniture tomorrow or whenever the weather's nice, so that I can sugar soap the walls and clean it prior to painting it. And my mum says, oh, have you got some paint then? And I was like, nah, I was thinking of sugar soap in the walls and maybe in a couple of months' time.
You just reminded me of the young ones. Have we got a video recorder then? Do you remember Nasty? That's pretty funny. That have we got a video? The next person that says, "I got a video recorder."
Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear.
Good old young'uns.
I just sometimes I get like asked the most inane questions like, "Have you had a bath?" And it's like, no, it's just been raining all over my body.
I thought I used to say, I've just combed my hair.
I went out last night after the show, and I was thinking I could go to the supermarket, but then I'd have to cook something for myself, and I don't feel.
You could go there right now, but I suggest you don't.
And like I went there, and then I noticed like, oh, all the parking spaces are free. I'll park right next to the kebab van. Oh, the supermarket that's next to it is closed. Oh, well, okay. King-size doner for me. And he did not go...
yeah, because that's what you said, didn't you? You said, I'm either having a kebab or I'm going to this thing.
Yeah. And, Abdul was not shy with the meat. And, in fact, when I emptied
that's
up...
That's all right, he just got a Alsatian in last week, hadn't he?
That's it, you'll be alright for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But it was not shy with the meat, big plate, filled up the entire plate, and the chili sauce did not pull any punches. I mean, no, it says, oh, you actually got some decent chili sauce. I wish my kebab van here had some. I said, it's like there's a jihad in my mouth and all the infidels are invited. I used to go to this Indian food shops and they'd have, not Mr. Patak's, but saying like Mr. Ranjeep's Naga pickle. And it tasted dirty. It sort of tasted like, imagine like a chili chutney, but it's also got BO and sweat mixed into it. And it was palatable enough. I just definitely thought this, well, considering how Indians prepare their food, I think I understand how this came to be. But it was some spicy stuff. And then I find out Naga is a snake demon that eats your soul. And the hottest chili in the world is a Naga derivative grown in Dorset. And the ghost chili is just a derivative of that that's grown in Carolina, so it's got more sunshine. Because it turns out that... Wow, my feet stink. I think I'm going to have a bath tomorrow, even though I don't need one. Or maybe I do need one. Yep. Yeah. So if you join me, welcome to Friday night. Hemi's not playing any tunes.
No, I'm giving it a rest. I'm giving it a rest for a bit.
When you're doing 1987?
I've still got another hour of 1986 to do.
I was going to say, yeah, because, I mean, I haven't heard any Paranormia by Art of Noise in your 1986 bit yet.
Well, I think I've already done Art of Noise. Didn't I do Close to the Edit?
That, I think, was 1984.
Ah, right. So, no, I'm not going to do Paranormia. I'm going to do...
Well, that's got Max Headroom in. You can't get more 80s than Max Headroom.
What is the one I was going to do?
Dun, 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 ba, 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 ba. Dun, 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 panorama.
Art of Noise or The Art of Noise, because I actually downloaded their best stuff.
Oh, nice. That should have the seduction of...
Or a discography or something like that.
The Seduction of Claude Debussy. That's the last album they did, and turned me on to Claude Debussy.
Debussy makes me think of, what's his name?
Debussy. Still in Italy.
What was the album?
So if these are hot chemicals...
Peter Gunn, that's what I was going to put on.
Your voice just went shit then.
I did it.
Yeah. It's like, no, you're trying to sing. Time to fuck up.
Yeah.
Once again, it's turning to night. Don't know what the time is. Haven't got a clock on my dash, so I'm just going to assume with the sun setting, it's probably between 6 and 7. Where do I need to go? I need these 2 lanes. So if I'm transporting hot chemicals, will that do they remain hot until I get to my destination, or how does that work? Oh, spot on. Oh, not that it really matters. So now I've headed north through Italy, and now I'm heading west to Montpellier, where my ancestors are from. Do a fair bit of exercise and moving furniture about. I mean, one of the things I just put a speaker bracket on, and I think probably the speaker bracket itself took me an hour, but then it was 2 hours of moving furniture around, and that was the real time waste. But I had the step ladder.
Then going up and down ladders.
Well, that was it. I had the step ladder, and the number of times I went on that, I thought, well, this is better than any step aerobics thing, because at the end of it, I got a speaker bracket. Now all I need to do is order in a reel of speaker cable, because I've got some, but unfortunately it's all the wrong length, and I'm gonna have the...
Oh God, how soon do you need it?
Oh, no real hurry. I've done a bodge job.
If you can wait till Friday, I can give you some.
Oh, nice. Yeah, okay, sure. I can wait till then. Yeah, because
I used to work in AV, so I've got a few purloined reels of speaker cable.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Speaking of which,
it's more like you're not bothered about what size. It's more like the better wire stuff, like the cheap stuff.
Oh, okay. I was hoping at least for some multi-stranded copper.
Yeah, it's multi-stranded, but it's just like the thin stuff.
Well, if it's shit, I can always replace it. But if it does the job,
what I use. It's what I use. Is no problem.
Yeah.
Like you said, thickness of stuff doesn't really.
I mean, there are people with like inch-thick solid silver cables, but that's just male jewelry. It's like, oh yeah, that cable costs $15,000 a square of a yard, and it's like, great. But does it make the music sound better? No, but look how fancy it looks. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll play like their one pressing of Frank Sinatra, which was from 1950s, and they'll play it on an incredibly expensive turntable. It's just like, I think there's actually a phenomenon of it. Like, the higher fidelity your sound system is, the less stuff you want to play on it, because the less stuff you hear is recorded well. Something in my throat. It's making my eyes water. Probably a bit of dust. Yeah, I've still got to get my subwoofer back from my dad. But the ideal being is that the turntable and the amp are going to go back onto one corner of my room, and the opposite corner of my room, that's where the speakers are up on their brackets. And for the moment I'm using a cheap Bluetooth amplifier, and it does the job, but because I haven't got cable which goes all the way from where I need it to, I've just got one TIAC LSX7 on the windowsill, and that's the right channel, and the left channel is the Mordant Short MS-20. But yeah. Oh, really pleased with the LSX7s. They used to retail for about £100 in late 80s. and they're little bookshelf speakers, but they sound, for the money, they sound really good.
I got some Wharfdales at the minute. They're kind of okay. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting out the. I got some Tannoy. I can't remember which ones they are, but they're like some massive Tannoy ones.
Yeah, my dad said, "Oh, I'd love to get a pair of LSX8." So I found a pair of them on eBay for about £40, and one of the diaphragms were broken, but we found a generic replacement paper cone, and that did the job. That was pretty good. And I just realised it's 70 here, not 80. Yeah, so that was nice. But then I started looking around and I said, oh yeah, they do sound good, don't they? And we were even using like a sort of a cheap hobbyist 5-volt it was a 5 watt amplifier, so you could plug it into USB, Class D amp, and it was incredible. And I got one myself. Like, I paid £1.37 for it, but unfortunately only the left channel was working on it. I think I might have overheated the chip when soldering in the contacts.
Yeah.
Top tip, if you're going to do hobby soldering, use leaded solder, because it flows so much nicer than the shit modern stuff. Unfortunately though, getting hold of a 6337 solder, surprisingly expensive. Because most like solder, they'll do a 60-40 mix of tin to lead, but if you get 6337, that's the ideal ratio. But anyway, yeah, so I got actually it was a friend gave me, they sent it in the post from Germany, the amp, and I was using it in the car for a long time with some LSX7s, which I won for £31 on eBay, and I said to the guy, I said, these speakers are brilliant, why are you selling them? He says, well, I was using them as my studio monitors, but now I've got a pair of active monitors, I don't need them anymore. And I thought, oh yeah, not everybody collects stuff. I mean, for me, it's nice having 2 pair of speakers, because it just means that when I'm done using them downstairs, I can either put them back in the car, or I can take them upstairs for my bedroom. Because at the moment I've put my telly up there and I'm using the speakers on that, which they're alright. I mean, they're nothing special, they're just the speakers you get in the telly, but they do the job. They're certainly good enough for when I'm listening to Crank and Crank 2 high voltage.
I bet Crank's Ian's favourite film, isn't it?
You know what? If he was here, but not, he's not here. I'm pretty sure.
Is he still not listening yet?
I don't know.
No, he's still deaf and dumb.
Yeah, and I imagine Phil's doing his mix show, but the problem with Phil's mix show is his laptop just is not powerful enough to.
Oh, that crackly noise is doing my fucking tree in.
The crackly noise, what, on Phil's stuff?
Yeah.
Like with his microphone.
Yeah.
And the yeah, I mean, the thing is, he should be looking like, if I was Phil, and like, okay, I've got a budget of £200, what can I do? Well, you can build a computer with that, and you could use like an A-series AMD motherboard, and you could get an APU, which will actually...
I found an AMD Athlon 64 when I was sort of through my drawers in my desk.
Do you know, I had an Athlon, it was 64, it was the FX55, it was the most powerful single-core chip ever made, and the fastest as well, and I bought it for £230 because that was 1 month's rent for a friend, and he had this idea that he was going to like buy all these different components, and like one component every month, and it didn't work out. So we ended up like saying them all again, and it's just like, yeah, that sucks, mate. You should have just done the initial outlay, gone like, okay, I'm going to spend £1,400. Yeah, and then just do it that way. Just like save up £1,400 or whatever it was going to cost, and it like that. And he didn't. So yeah, he got fucked. But his loss was my gain, and it was kind of like because I think the chip cost like new. It cost something like ridiculous money. I mean, someone could look like the FX55. What was its cost brand new retail back when it was released?
And what's it worth now? Piss all.
Wow, you could look on eBay. This might be someone interested. I think in the end I gave the chip to somebody who I wasn't even really that friends with. It was just like, hey, you want a computer? I'm done with this. Do you want it? And they said, yeah, sure. How much do you want for it? And I think I charged something like £80. It wasn't much money.
Yeah.
Might have been a bit more than that. I understood they're a student, didn't have much money to begin with, but I just thought to myself, I don't need it anymore. Moving on, so you can have it. Oh, speaking of which, 24-inch Philips LCD monitor. Do you want it?
Don't know. I've literally just bought a monitor.
Oh,
cheap second-hand one.
Yeah, so you're right for monitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, someone might want it, so I'll hold on to it for a bit longer.
Yeah.
If not, I'll might put it onto Facebook Marketplace. I wouldn't put it on eBay because
I'd like to recommend them to any of our listeners, but Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, it's worth creating an account or borrowing your mum or your dad's account just so you can go on the marketplace. There's no seller fees.
They do have some good shit on there, don't they?
Well, it depends. Some stuff, like furniture and things...
I've got a bargain bit of... what did I pay? For like 50 quid for a stick of 16 gig DDR4?
Oh yeah, I mean, if people don't know the value of this stuff, you can get good deals. But then there's other people, they think like they can charge silly prices saying because it costs them a lot. Like, if you're looking for second-hand paint, forget it. It's like, oh yeah, I've used 2 inches from the top and it cost me £26 brand new. You can have it for 20 quid. I'm like, mate, no. There was another one, and he wouldn't respond to any of my messages either. It was like a 2 litre tin of paint for £6.50, and I'd have to travel like an hour there and back to pick it up. Or alternatively, I could just go on to Aldi, and they were selling tins of paint, so I got them for £6.50.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, it's the colour's all right. It's clotted cream, so beige is another word.
Magnolia, basically. Yeah. People don't like using the word magnolia anymore, do they?
What is magnolia? Is it pink?
No, magnolia is just like a cream, just like a cream colour, just an off-white colour.
Magnolia is a type of flower, right?
I assume so, yeah.
So
there's that shitty film, isn't there? Steel Magnolias.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
One of those Oscar bait jobs, because it's got women crying in it.
Speaking of which, like, if you're making toast, do you put butter or jam first on it?
Butter?
Yeah, and then you put the jam on top, right?
Oh my god, you're not going to tell me you know someone that puts jam then butter?
Well, this is the thing, you see, because people are talking about, and I think it's the same with bog roll as well. I think women just do this to be deliberately wrong, and then
my missus just gets a fistful of butter. I can't stand it. It winds me up.
What is she? Does she stab the block of butter with a knife? She doesn't just like.
No, I mean, people who get like a fistful of bog roll.
Oh God! Like. No, you get 2 sheets and you fold one over another, or unless it's free, and if it's free ply, you don't need to do that. You can just do 1 sheet.
Yeah. Well, we have that charming stuff, you know, like the really thick quilted stuff. He still gets a fistful of it. Winds me up.
Oh, she wants where she wraps it over her knuckle, so she's only using like a 1/10 of it to do the skid marks, and then it's just the other 9/10 of it just gets thrown away.
Exactly.
It's just like, in other words, why not just like grab a handful of money out of your wallet and just like throw like 9/10 of it away, because that's what you're doing. You know what? I think if I was with someone like that, and this is why I'm probably single, because there's certain compromises I'm not willing to make. And if I'm seeing like someone's like bog roll habit is costing them like upwards of £20 a week, I'm just like, you know what? We're gonna have separate bog roll supplies now. I'm gonna have my Badger's Arse 2-ply. You can have your Charmin, and
see, I'm quite happy with the. No, I can't do the little, because we did that during the Great Bog Roll shortage, and that had to go because it was shit.
The one I use is called a Saxon. I think it's Aldi's premium brand. And
that's just a waste of the little the little basic is just a total absolute fucking waste of time.
I'll tell you what's actually good. I mean, there's various companies that do office supplies, and because our accounts at my previous job just would not do a Staples account, I ended up ordering like office supplies via Rapid Electronics. So I was ordering bog roll through Rapid Electronics, and they did this like 2-ply stuff, like office supply standard bog roll 2-ply, and it was good stuff. I mean, I would fold it over like 2 sheets to make 1 square, but I was happy using that stuff. I can if you're in a real pinch and you just like, you know what, I'm gonna do a Rapid Electronics order anyway, get myself some chock blocks and some solder and some heat shrink sleeving. Because actually, instead of Rapid Electronics, if you're doing it for yourself, go on CPC, because CPC is just bizarre. It's a subsidiary company of Farnell, and they do identical products to Farnell. I mean, they're literally in the same warehouse, yet CPC does it cheaper than Farnell. And my dad, he's not just hobby electronics, he does it as a job. He spoke with the guys because the Farnell representative come knock on his door and say, oh, you're one of our valued customers, here's the calling card, blah blah blah. And he said, CPC? I said, oh yeah, they're subsidiary, they share the same offices as us. Your same company, right? More or less. How come is it that they're selling identical products to you but cheaper? And he said, well, we deal with a lot of big clients that can't be asked to shop around. So even though CPC is exactly the same stuff, they're like, yeah, I'm not setting up 2 accounts. You just buy all your stuff from Farnell. So we deal with universities and hospitals and other large concerns, and they're happy paying the Farnell premium. And it's only for small customers like yourself where we just have CPC, so we can remain competitive with eBay and Amazon.
Yeah, CPC are quite good. I forgot all about them. I haven't used them in years.
Chat, if you're looking for decent electronics and consumer electronics, like a Toshiba 42-inch television I got from them, £250. And I'm still using that television. That television's like 6 or 7 years old now.
Well, I used to work in AV, so we used to use a lot of like RCA plugs and soldered. I used to solder VGAs and shit like that.
I hate RCA cables. They're so shit. I mean, I like having used a lot of them now. I can understand why. Like the DIN plug genuinely is a better connector than, and that's why the professionals use XLR, because it's just a modern DIN. But the thing I hate about RCA is it's unshielded, or right. So with DIN, you got the ring around it as earth, and that's the first thing that comes into contact with a piece of equipment is the ring, and then the pins inside will come in contact. So, like if you're plugging in the phono lead, you got all this buzzing because it's unshielded, because the earth connector is shorter than the other one, and it's just like it's typical retarded American engineering. But unfortunately, you're sort of stuck with it because so many people use the bloody stuff. So they even sort of go, oh yeah, phonos. Like I've got this sound card, and to make people understand it's a premium product, its outputs are 1/4-inch jacks and RCA out. And I'm like, I actually prefer a 3.5mm TRS connector, because at least with that, you're not going to get the buzzing noises, and it's like RCA is just a pile of wank. It really is. It's like what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, so I used to actually know the pinouts on VGA cables.
Is it a 15 pin D sub?
You don't even use half of them. There's oh fuck it. There's RGB. There's like there's RGB positive, RGB negative, and then I think it's horizontal and vertical. Okay. So you only use like 8 of the cables anyway.
Yeah, because the original was like it was a 9-pin D sub connector.
It's 15, isn't it? It's VGA's 15 pin.
But the original connector was 9 pins, and then for whatever reason, there's like, no, we're going to do a 15-pin one now.
Yeah.
Even though the other 15
for
pins.
no reason. I don't. I think the 15. I think the 15 pins are capable of. You can wire them all up, but I don't think anything actually uses that.
Oh, the one I found which was really interesting is, you know, DVI and HDMI are
Yeah.
Is it pin compatible? They're the same standard, different connector.
Yeah, because you can buy a straight up cable that's DVI one end and HDMI the other.
Which I have, and the fascinating thing. Okay, so that's the car park. So where's the lorry park? Is it? Oh, it's so dark. I can't see. What's that say? Is that parking? That's parking, okay. Yeah, so I've got one of those cables, and I plugged it into the so DVI end in the computer, HDMI end into the telly.
Because DVIs carry sound, don't they, whereas VGAs don't?
I didn't know that. The DVI is carrying out sound. It's like, but DVI is not an audio thing. I thought that's what HDMI was. It's like DVI, but it also does sound.
So which bit is the audio then? The little strip bit.
That bit at the end is called analog, in case you're delivering an analog signal. So I haven't got a fucking clue where it is, and funny enough, neither does anyone else. There's no actual standard for DVI audio. I assume that what they're doing is they're just following the pinouts on HDMI and going, well, if that's where audio is on HDMI, that's where we're going to put audio. But what that means is my graphics card, the DVI socket, outputs audio. And I was intrigued by this because I just thought someone has actually gone to the effort of wiring up audio on the DVI socket, which is nice. Oh, and also DisplayPort does audio as well. I found that out recently.
Oh, you got 6 watching, Hubbard.
Nice. Well, welcome to my show. It's.
I finally got around to doing a 2-monitor setup. So I've got my big TV and then I've got a little monitor to the side.
You're now part. You're now part of the dual monitor setup master race.
Yeah. I've just put you on there so I can read the chat.
I have nice.
You could get a VGA to SCART cable in the back of the day.
Really? Now
how would that work?
That would have to be some sort of converter because it's going to an analog signal. Now, mind you, there was like
I remember doing all that AV shit when I used to do all that stuff.
And there was composite to SCART adapters as well because I've got a PlayStation 3.
Because there's like a hierarchy of quality of signal. So the lowest is coax because that's only 2. So the lowest is coax. Then after coax you have
composite.
Composite, which is your yellow,
RCA
red, and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one after that is your S video. Do you remember S video, Hobbit?
The mini DIN plug. Yes, I did see it.
And then after that comes your composite, doesn't it? But this was before HDMI or anything like that. I remember. So then it's composite and then VGA, isn't it?
I remember in the late 2000s.
Not composite, component, then VGA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Components, your it's not red, blue, and.
I think it is red, blue, and green. It's red, blue, and green cables, but then it's also.
No, they call it something else. Then is it like red, blue, and cyan or something?
I don't know, but it's a bunch of RCA, and I think there's like 4 or 5 of them. I've never used it myself, but there was and I think with the original Xbox or 360 you could get that, so you could do high definition that way, which was interesting. But with the PlayStation 3, I remember I had composite to SCART adapter,
Yeah, I think even the even the Wii has a composite option.
Yeah. I've done I would say it was a bit of a side grade because the 42-inch Toshiba I have is now upstairs in my bedroom, and it does very well for just watching films like Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage.
So are HDMI and VGA equal, or are they different?
No, VGA is still an analog signal. HDMI is digital, and DisplayPort is containerized in packets. It's not.
So DVI is digital. Isn't it digital video interface?
Yeah.
It?
So DVI and HDMI are the same standard with just different pinouts. So
it is the real nerd question for you then, Hobbit. What is better, HDMI or VGA?
HDMI.
You think digital trumps analog then?
Well, in the context of what a VGA and HDMI is going to be plugged into, yeah, the HDMI or DisplayPort is superior, and fuck me, that really fucking stinks. Just
doesn't VGA only go up to a certain resolution as well?
Certain resolution, certain frequency. I think I'm going to put my slippers outside. Actually, they're that bad.
It's thinking, I like of it.
Well, I was using my slippers when doing all the stepping up and down the step ladder, and it's just like, wow, my sweat is potent. Yeah. So, yeah, no, so I've done the side grade. I've now, instead of the big 42-inch and the 24-inch to the side, I've now got two 24-inch monitors, and I did a bit of a splurge. I bought a Acer gaming monitor. It goes up to 165 hertz, so it's nice. If I put games onto low detail settings, I can enjoy the extra frame rate. I think I'm currently... I mean, you might even be able to see this in... I'm not sure.
Is extra frame rate noticeable, is it?
Oh, yeah. I've played some games over 100 FPS, and you can notice it. This idea
is there a threshold then where it's noticeable then?
There's probably a bit of diminishing returns, like the difference between 100 and 200 FPS is not going to be too noticeable, but like the difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, very noticeable. I'm currently.
Well, I was talking about. I didn't clarify. I meant like anything over 60. Is anything over 60 noticeable? So like between 60 and 100, say, is that noticeable?
Yeah. I've been noticing it. It just. I tell you, one of the best things about it, it's not even playing.
Can you get a TV that's 100 then? Can you? Or do you have to go for a monitor?
There are TVs which do 120 hertz. I have seen them. You've got big ones, but you're paying a premium for them. And then, really, it's with the understanding that you're going to be watching games on it, because apart from not Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, there's not really any. But even then, that was 60 frames a second. That wasn't. No, that was 48 frames a second. But it was a proper 48 frames a second, not the 24 frames a second interlaced, which is what standard film is. It's not 24 frames a second. It's 20. Each of those frames are flashed twice. Because if it was 24 frames a second, you'd see it being juddery. And in fact, that's a good point, because if you do like some synthetic tests, like showing an animation on the computer and say, yeah, run this at 20 frames, run this at 10 frames, run this at 24, you can see that 24 is a slideshow, and even 30 is a bit sort of like, it's like, okay, 30 is starting to look okay, but even then you see it's a bit meh. 60 frames a second is where it's like it's nice and smooth, but anything above that is like it's really nice. So yeah, in fact that was one of the reasons why I was interested in those VR goggles, is because from the outset, like the Vive does 90 frames a second. But yeah, like I said, the biggest improvement I've noticed isn't even in games, it's in menu animations in Windows and scrolling on websites. If you're scrolling on websites on a high refresh rate monitor, the transition is a lot smoother, and it makes it a lot easier to read text as it's moving up and down the screen, because I don't know about you, but I use my scroll wheel. I don't use page up and page down to do it, and I can lose my place when scrolling doing that. Yeah. But I've got this menu as well, like my sound card. It's got this thing which pops up and pops down, and when you click it open on the fast monitor, it looks smooth like water. And when you open up on the other one doing 60 frames a second, you can actually see it. There's even a website. It's got like some simple animated GIFs on it, but it explains the difference. Oh, I've run out of fuel. Can you
still get the GIFs to set up your TV? You know, to set up your TV so it's perfect. You know, like the old tech. Can you still get like the old TV test card, but like a HD version of it?
Yeah, Nvidia do it in the Nvidia control panel. It's not an animated GIF. It's just it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. That's not a petrol station. It's a. This is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to like bring the speed down, and I can't actually. Oh dear, I'm out of fuel. Well, this is unfortunate. Let's just see how far I can get whilst I'm out of fuel. In fact, how far do I have to go? Let's just have a look at the map. Oh, I'm almost there at the home stretch, but no, there's no fuel between me and the place, so I'm going to ask a van to come and bring me some diesel. Let's do that. Let's see. View services and adjustments.
An oopsie.
Yeah, I mistook emergency refueling. Oh, I can't call for an emergency refueling. Probably going to have to come to a stop in order to do that. So, let's just get onto the hard shoulder. Or as they called it in France, the chemin d'urgence. I don't know if they call it that, I'm just making this up. And now, emergency refueling, there we go. And 50 litres of fuel, it'll cost €346 and it'll take half an hour to get there. Yep, sure. Bring it on. Should Heavy and I get out and push you? Yeah, good luck doing that. That's, I mean, including tractor and trailer, you're dealing with about 40 tons of weight there. So if you can push, then great, but...
The Hobbit, they thought it looked like video. A lot of film critics said.
Yeah, I know, and like frankly, like I thought it was a poor. It was a. I can understand it because
I just didn't bother when I saw it was 3 fucking massive movies for the Hobbit. I thought, nah, I'm out. I'm not even going to try.
I saw it because he sort of gathered some good faith with Lord of the Rings, and I watched it, and then. The other ones, did I watch them in the cinema or not? I don't remember. I definitely watched the first one in the cinema. And at first I just thought it was very strange, but then after a while I was like, no, I like it. It's more fluid and animated. And you know, the reason they say it's video is because videos does 30 frames a second, whereas films 24 frames a second. But there's nothing stopping you from doing high-speed film. In fact, there's a lot of footage in the olden days of high-speed film, like all the special effects in Thunderbirds and all of that stuff. That was done at... they would do it like...
that was to counteract the water looking small, wasn't it?
Well, that's it. So they would film at 120 frames a second and then slow it down for that bit. And in fact,
that was actually one of the best DMSs we did, was the...
yeah.
thingy one, weren't it?
Well, they also did the same effect in Red Dwarf. Like, they'd have the miniature land... Like, the episode where they crash land on the planet is Lister and Rimmer, and he burns part of Rimmer's chest.
Camphor wood.
Yeah, that's it.
Your guitar was made of camphor wood.
That must have cost a fortune. Yeah, so he just they had like some talcum powder dust to represent the snow, but they were also filming that 120 frames a second. It's just the thing is, it's like film costs money, and if you're filming at that speed, it's more expensive. But by all means,
yeah.
I mean, it's like people saying, "Oh, the original Clerks in black and white was like really thematic." It's like, no, it's just because black and white film was cheaper, so that's what Kevin Smith used because he couldn't afford colour film. In fact, it was very ambitious. He got a bunch of credit cards and maxed out the balances on a lot of them to finance the film, so it was a big personal gamble what he did.
Yeah, it kind of worked out for him though.
Yeah, no, it did. I mean, the first film is a really good film, just the other stuff he's done has been a bit trash, but never mind. But no, this sort of criticism that, oh, I don't like it, and just like you're just used to shit. It's like, say for example, like with Americans and the ones that have grown up eating Hershey's chocolate, and then you give them some proper Belgian or Swiss chocolate, and they go, oh, I don't like it. It doesn't have that taste of sick in it. And no, I kid you not, right? You think I'm exaggerating, but one of the ingredients in Hershey's chocolate is butyric acid, which is one of the things that gives sick. It's like distinctly offensive smell. And the reason they do that is because when they originally used to make the stuff, oh, guess what? It would have soured milk in it, which has butyric acid. So it smells like sick. And so rather than, with refrigeration and like fresh quality milk, and people going, I don't like this new formulation of Hershey's. Hershey's chocolate. Oy vey. So
the Yanks have no idea how to make chocolate.
Oh, it's a fucking joke, and so it's the same with the critics. Like, well, all the great films I've seen have been in 24 frames a second. Actually, no, it's 48 frames a second interlaced. You fucking idiot. But so they go, well, therefore I don't like anything which is trying to progress technology. It's like saying, oh, I don't like stuff which is filmed on 17mm film. This THX stuff that. Is it THX cinemas?
THX 1138. The forever meme from what's his name?
George Lucas.
Yeah.
But there was like the THX cinemas, and the big thing about them is that instead of 35mm film, originally, now it's all digital, so it doesn't matter. Originally, they would have like film on 70mm because. Like a lot of films were being shot on 70mm, but then being rendered down to 35mm, and I don't think I can do that this way. I'm gonna have to think about how to get this trader in. I might be able to do it this way. Just do a lot of that. Okay. And go forward a bit. No. I need to go backwards, but if I... Let's see. Is that going backwards the right way? But yeah, they're Philistines and they're complaining about advances in technology, and the advances in technology, it's shit. No, I think Critical Drinker got it right. It just said it wasn't a very good film, and they padded it out with a load of useless shit.
What film's that, sorry?
The Hobbit.
I can't say because I just boycotted it. I just never bothered.
Yeah, I mean, I got vested interest in it because I like the story, so I thought
I read The Hobbit when I was a kid, but there's no way you'll catch me watching that garbage.
Well, as a kid, I was recommended to read it by my primary school teacher, but I got into. I think like page 17 and I gave up, and I was just like, yeah, this is really boring. But sort of later on in life I gave it another go, and I was like, oh, it's not too bad.
The only I never finished Lord of the Rings because I just found
I've only read.
was just too boring. The Return of the King was just too fucking. I think what it was I had some sort of a break, not like a break from reality, but a break from the book, and then and then I just never went back to it.
Yeah.
No, I think I then had like an attempt to go back to it, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck any of this means or who any of these people are because the names are too long and they're too confusing.
Yeah, it's like I keep wanting to rewatch Game of Thrones because it's like, this show was pretty good at the start, and then I think to myself, what back when it had an actual like script written by the author based on his books. Yeah, and it just it's like seeing your favourite dog and then you're gonna watch him getting cancer of the bowels and he's just gonna shit himself all the time. It's like it's just like, mate, put him out of its misery thoughts. It's like I've never seen the last series of Game of Thrones, and I watched like reviews of it, and I was like, oh, so I didn't really miss much, did I? I think the show jumped the shark when it was like this indestructible magic wall. Well, zombie dragon breathed on it, and then the wall came down, and then loads of people on Twitter was like, see Donald Trump? Walls in this fictitious fantasy show don't work, therefore why are you trying to build a wall? And I was like, really, you're going with that. You're going for that literal Harry Potter plebiscite take.
To be fair, I did think it was pretty metal when you got a zombie fucking dragon like destroying like a massive ice wall. Although I did accept that it was bullshit. I would have liked it, except for the people that like it are fucking cancer. So no. Well, I've been watching the the Marvel TV series, and the problem is the Marvel TV series is because they're weekly and they're episodic. What the fans and the nerds are coming up with is like a million times better than what eventually happens. And that's the problem with it. It's the writers are nowhere near up to what they're doing, are they?
That's sad.
Yeah.
So let's see, where can I go? Oh, well, there's fuel there, so I could just go there. All right, I'm going to go there then. Get some diesel into the tanks. Right, let's get out of this depot and... Fuck me, I'm going to chuck those... Wait, excuse me, audience, just bear with me one moment. Oh god, it definitely is them. That's that dealt with.
Poo.
There we go.
Yeah, Mitch.
That's what my slippers smelled like. Hello.
Just finished the stream, mate.
Yep.
I saw you did the old. You put the Geralt one back up.
I was going through my the meme folder and I fucking auto played that stream. And I was like, oh shit, I have to upload. Fucking memories.
I've got it. I think it's on my phone. It's just so funny, isn't it?
What Geralt streams this?
When he went on and washed. I think Unwashed thought he was going to shit on us.
Oh, and then he... Oh, yeah, that one. That was weird. Geralt was... Geralt has been, like, radicalised by Incel.co.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've seen Geralt. He's not a bad-looking lad, so why does he need to... Reading this stuff
know.
is like, I want to not score with women, and I don't want to be a fag. So, yeah. I mean, you know, fair enough, there's a lot of neuroses in this world. There's people that chop their dicks off and say I'm a woman now, and so I'm guessing celibacy is not too bad of a neuroses, but like the way Casimir was saying, like he uploaded a picture of his face to one of the forums, and they were photoshopping him saying, "This is a list of cosmetic surgeries you must do in order to be attracted to the female sex." I'm like, you're fucking kidding, right? Casimir is not ugly, no matter what you want to say. I mean, he's weird, but he's not ugly.
Yeah, he's an odd one, isn't he, Cass?
He's the wild one. Dude, he's a wild one.
He's a wild one.
Posts pictures of his bum and he says, "You're gonna come." He's the wild one. I just assumed that he's Scuggy's boyfriend/girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because until they prove what's the word I'm looking for? Conclusively prove otherwise, I'll just be like, yeah, that's how they know one another. But Scuggy fancies him, and he gets on top and gives him the old seeing to, and but then they're like, oh, I'm out of fuel. I'm out of fuel just as I get to the fuel station. Oh, come on. No. There's an irony there. If I'd not slowed down, I'd have actually got there with fuel to spare.
No, if as soon as you realised you were low on fuel, you'd have dropped your speed and gone about 55, you would have made it.
Well, I knew I was low on fuel because I got 50 litres, and that was to get me to the... Look, I can see it. All I got to do is keep turning the starter motor, and I'll limp in there. That's what I'm doing.
Is that not going to fuck your starter motor?
That's alright, I can just get it done with the next service. I mean, it's not as if I'm short with money with 179 million euros in the bank.
Oh, you've got, you fucking cuck.
You know, I mean, if this game could really do it, it'd just be a case of, right, I'm going to get out of the cab, get a jerry can, fill up like a couple of litres, and then turn the engine on, get
Murder
into...
a hooker.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just, you know, you get to the fuel, you got like some fuel in the tank, and you can make it go the extra 50 metres towards the petrol station, but you can't do that in this game, so I'm just going to keep turning the starter motor over and over. I think that's it. Yeah,
Grot is a fucking legend for fucking and washed around like that.
Yes.
Oh, 60% slag.
Mate, fucking Doctor Who Geralt, mate, traveling back through time to with his takes. Like,
it's more like Groundhog Day.
Oh, you're kidding me, right? Come on.
It's more like Doctor Who, isn't it?
There's a slight uphill incline. It won't.
I think Geralt does what Iron
bastard.
Duke does. He hears like a word that associates with another word, and it just derails after that. Like, if you talk about, I went for a walk, you go walk. Oh wait, walk is similar to running. Oh wait, I started a free running club.
I used to walk in the army. Has anyone ever found out whether Iron Duke was actually in the army or not?
Actually, he wasn't in the army. He was in the Navy.
Yeah. No, his son was in the Navy. His son's
in the Navy. That's where you're gonna get bummed. In the Navy.
Did you hear that? Apparently, the in the Navy was going to be used by the American Navy
until like people I to explain to the brass.
Until someone in top brass someone had the courage to go, look, you fucking idiots. These lot are queer as fuck.
Did you not notice the music slightly camp and cheese? It's just, well, we thought that's what the youths liked. Yeah, you'll be attracting the wrong sort of youths.
Yeah.
Attracting the millennial woes, mate.
Yeah.
19 negation.
When I was 17 in the gay scene.
In the gay scene. When you're 17 in the gay scene, Mungo Jerry will sing a song about it in the gay scene. When you're 17 in the gay scene. Do 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 do.
Oh dear, Garol. I'll fucking miss Garol.
Well,
He may be a fucking pisshead, but he's our pisshead, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but you know, I've had enough of pisshead. So, like, Frithall in chat says, "Hey, drink driving Hobbit streams are the best. Maybe next week, but I don't feel like drinking this week. We'll see, But yeah, I can tell you now, I might get some drinks in next week. Yeah, I enjoy this too. No tunes planned for this week. I'll probably get a bit of drum and bass next. I got to listen to some as well. And it's like, because I was trying to find. There's an Andy C song called Foul Mouth, and it was on one of his Ram record mixes, but I haven't been able to find it since then, which was annoying. But anyway, let's get on this roundabout and get to the sort of, oh, hang on. Whoops. This is yet another sleeping area or parking area. They've done quite well in this part of the game. I really do like the attention to detail they have for these sort of rest stops. I've got to drive all around.
37's had a share of pissheads, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much cornered the market on pissheads, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, Phil's not too bad being a pisshead. I'm a great pisshead. But other people, it's like, yeah, you know what? You don't need to drink, or if you do, you don't need to drink so much. And I'm not naming any names, but they know who they are.
I don't know, mate. Like, I enjoy the unpredictable pissheads like Grohl. Actually, he's quite predictable, but
yeah, they're predictable.
Grohl was an absolute agent of chaos, wasn't he?
It's just when they're pissed, you don't know if they're going to be like, like lovey-dovey, or they're going to be fucking angry, or just.
Or if they're going to sort of say stuff like, "Oh God, why are they public?" It's just like, I can't stand it. There's nothing relaxing about being around with a pisshead, especially when they start talking about their problems, which they normally keep bottled up. I've dealt with enough alcoholics in my life. I still enjoy a drink, but I understand that way lies ruin.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing as well. I mean, especially seeing as what was this? Phil was saying it was the Aristotelian virtue of you can have a drink. In fact, you can do anything as long as you do it in moderation. And that's
it's like South Park. Do you remember the South Park where Randy gets the disease?
I'll never drink again. I've got a disease.
No, Dad, just have a couple of beers.
No, gotta have low. But that's the problem as well. There are like some fucking dickheads who just cannot hold their drink, and
but the other thing is they're now told it's a disease. It's not your fault. It's a disease you've got. It's not a fucking disease.
Like George Floyd had a disease called "I've eaten too many drugs." I've been listening to the court stuff, and there's like a bit where like the police pull him over, and it's like, "Oh man, I ate too many drugs."
Is that what he says?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, you don't say. Because one of the things the prosecution that are prosecuting against Derek Chauvin, you know, the innocent bystander. Fuck you, caravan. I hate caravans. How can I punish this caravan driver even more? Right, there we go.
Destroy it.
Is he?
No, you need to hit it. You need to hit him harder so it just splinters it.
I've pushed him over the Armco barrier, so he's not going to be a threat to himself or other road users now. There we go. That's that.
Anyway, you were saying about the George Floyd trial.
Yeah, so Derek Chauvin, the innocent bystander who just happened to be there and George Floyd died because George Floyd murdered George Floyd. The prosecution's prosecuting him for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. and a lot of their prosecution rests on the fact that he died as asphyxia, and the defence have been like, right, yeah, we agree he did die of asphyxia, but here's an expert witness, and they're going to tell you the ways of dying from asphyxia. So one of them is you get your airways constricted physically from strangulation, and they've established that hasn't happened. So it wasn't mechanical asphyxia. And then they said, oh yeah, but didn't he do the blood choke? And it's like, yeah, a blood choke was done on it, which we've established is not mechanical asphyxia. It's just a blood choke.
Yeah.
Which didn't lead to asphyxiation. So then so toxicology, yeah. He had a lot of drugs in him, didn't he? Yeah. Would it be enough to kill him? Yeah. What was the cause of death? Asphyxia. And how did that happen? Well, you see, fentanyl does this thing where it's a depressant, and it's a central nervous system depressant. That means that your lungs stop moving up and down because your body is like really when you take enough drugs, basically your body just like goes, yeah, I'm not going to breathe anymore. But he also had a load of methamphetamine in him, which meant his heart was struggling to pump blood anyway and was going into heart arrhythmia. So if he didn't die from not being able to breathe, he would have died because his heart stopped because of heart arrhythmia, because he took too many fucking drugs. So George Floyd murdered George Floyd. And then the prosecution would be like, objection, objection. And the judge is like, fuck you. Seriously, what you're objecting to the fact that your client, the George Floyd, who got murdered by George Floyd, killed George Floyd? And it's just, it's going to result in massive chimp outs either way. And I, for one, I'm going to enjoy the excitement and chaos. Do you think it's... Like, some people are saying it's to distract from other issues, and I'm trying to think, well, what are those other issues? The
Jerry Nadler shitting himself.
Yeah. And like wearing a mask as well.
Yeah.
They talk about mandatory vaccination. I find it very interesting in Europe.
Half of these people saying I can't breathe are probably the same people that wear masks.
Yeah.
And harangue people that don't wear masks.
Yeah. Masks are bullshit anyway.
Speaking of chaotic drunks, anyway, where's Toppy?
Oh, well, we know about that, don't we? I don't think he likes me too much after I told him some home truths.
Yeah.
You can see you started talking about standards, gang, and I'm just like...
That's because you're a cut hobbit, that's why.
How can you want to be talking about standards when you're sick on yourself in public? From the comfort of your own home, but where you're like, everyone in the world can see you. So having you talk about standards is like having like some tramp with piss and shit over their raggedy clothes talking about fashion advice. It feels a bit hypocritical, is what I'm trying to say. Just a little bit hypocritical. So
no, you see a lot of people rip jeans. I mean, I think it's their advice.
Yeah, but it's like the people that say you should put jam on your toast first, then the butter, and you should put jam on your scone, then the clotted cream. I'm like, you're insane, right? Why would you do that? You put the clotted cream on because it's butter, and then you put the jam on top. If you put jam on your scone, then it's just going to seep through the edges. You imbecile. I mean, if I see someone do that in real life, I am going to have to actually, like, physically assault them. Fuck's sake. Idiots. Fucking idiots.
You telling me when you make a ham sandwich, you don't put the ham on the bottom and 2 pieces of bread on top?
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a ham sandwich. I'm gonna get 2 slices of ham and a piece of bread in the middle. Fucking idiots! I swear this was just like a wind up. Like people going, of course I put the jam on first. What are you, some sort of barbarian. And it's like, oh.
Are you telling me there's some sort of argument about whether you put the jam or the butter on first?
Yes, that is what I'm telling you. There are
Spacey put a Twitter post on it.
There are people that are genuinely doing this, and like I'm thinking, it's probably not a wind up because people are dumb enough to say like masks save lives. So I'm gonna go with it's not a wind up, it's real. So I could go to Dijon. Oh, okay. There's one as well. So,
every day we stray further from God.
Yeah, and that's why Sodom and Gomorrah is going to happen again. They're talking about nuclear war because Israel killed a bunch of Iranian scientists again. So the Iranians went and killed a bunch of Mossad agents in Iraq. And the Israelis were like, "Oh, this is terrible. How could you kill our secret spy network in Iraq?" And it's like, and the Iraqis are like, "What are you doing in our country again? You shifty fucking Christ-killing kikes. Why are you in our country? We don't like you very much. What are you doing here? Why is Iran here? Why are you here?" So yeah, that was the other thing as well. Russian diplomats have been kicked out of the US because they're like, "You're interfering with other elections." It's kind of like saying that you've just uncovered like
you can't interfere with US elections, Hobbit.
Oh yeah, they are sacrosanct. Nothing's more precious than.
You just can't do it, mate. You just can't mess with US elections.
It's like saying that, hello,
they won't have it.
My name is Jane Smith, and I've been passed around as a whore for these packy sex gangs. And you go to the police, and the police arrest you for trying to waste police time, and they will make you like a registered sex offender if you try to complain about it again. And like, there's like, so the US are kicking out Russian diplomats from the United States. And at this point, I'm just thinking, Russia, can you just go ahead and nuke America now? I mean, I've got a load of friends there, and people are loving America, but can we just get this over and done with now? Can we just like end the pretense, end it? I mean, I know they keep talking about the Great Reset, and we're all going to be dead anyway. So, stop dick teasing, and put your cards on the table.
As Arnie said in Predator, do it! Do it!
Do it! Come on, you pussy! Do it!
Do it!
So now I'm in here, and I want to. There we go. Industrial condenser, or haul truck chassis. Let's take the haul truck chassis.
I don't think nuclear war would even happen. It'd probably be like weather manipulation, warfare, something.
I think it's one of those where we all know it's just like it's just too costly, isn't it, for everybody?
I would just see it as I think it would just be natural disaster warfare.
This idea that money is the be all and end all, and that's the only motivation for them. You got to get that out of your head. They're quite happy to make a loss when it results in their other goals. And that's the thing, we have to identify, okay, if their goals isn't just like accumulating all the money, what are their goals then? But, I mean, they keep talking about the Great Reset, they keep talking about how 90% of us have got to die, which probably means 99% of us because they always overshoot. So come on, let's have it out in the open. Let's just do it. I mean, they are sort of hinting like, oh yeah, you might be sterilised from the vaccines, and in case you're not, well, you can have the vaccine every 6 months, and it'll be great. And if you don't do it, we'll stick you into gulag, where we'll sterilise you anyway, and there won't be any.
Your social credit score will go down, even though the Chinese are evil.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, at least with the Chinese, they got a social credit. In some ways, I think the Chinese have done a better job because at least it's honest there. At least you understand that if you do things which the government, and it's like, oh well, here it's not the government being tyrannical. It's private companies which can do it.
At least it's Google doing it and not the government, I bet.
Someone tried to. I think so. I remember once someone saying that fascism was when like companies were in control of the government and they were dictating, like the corporations were dictating what a country can do, and that's what fascism was. And I don't really know what any of these is and isms are.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very interesting. So that's what I describe as corporatism, but because isn't that basically what we got now? Like with companies like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube dictating what we can say, and Amazon and all that stuff. So? I mean, is that fascism? If it's the corporations dictating what we can and can't do, and it's not the government's making the rules, it's just these private companies which have all independently come to the same conclusions of how we got to behave. Like the airplane companies, I think Qantas was the first one to do it, saying that, oh yeah, we won't allow anybody to fly unless they've been vaccinated.
Apparently they're not allowed to do that because the Holocaust, because there's laws in place because of the Holocaust.
Well, the Nuremberg Code says you're not allowed to forcibly medicate people, but the European Union said that it's democratic to have mandatory vaccinations on children.
Yeah.
Because that was actually came up in Czechia, as they call it in the Czech Republic now. And they're saying that, well, hang on, you're saying that these children need to be mandatory vaccinated, and the parents are complaining and saying that, oh, our kids keep dying and
well, parents are just, some of these parents are just unreasonable, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's it. And so the European Union, the Court of Human Rights, have just said, yeah, you know what, mandatory vaccinations is democratic, it's definitely not a breach of the Nuremberg Code, and nobody's going to complain about it. Nuremberg Code basically just means you can't make Jews take something they don't want to take. That's all it means.
Yeah.
That's all it is. All these laws are for the benefit of them. They're not for the benefit of us. That's why they describe it as anarcho-tyranny. It's tyranny for us. It's anarchy for them. Sorry to be such a Debbie Downer.
Evening.
Hello. I think the main thing to take from this is just that.
Yeah, I won't talk much. I couldn't listen to it on YouTube. It's constantly buffering for me tonight.
Is it?
So I thought I'd come and listen to you here. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else in the chat? Are you getting problems with buffering? And
I think it's me.
Where is it? Okay. Touching the Armco barrier there. Let's just move out to the middle of the road.
He's here somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having the same problem trying to listen to his stream too.
Oh, well, there you go. It's a you problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if anyone in the chat is getting blackpilled by this. I think all it's just is worth understanding. It's like this is the way things are. Take appropriate actions, whatever those may be. I don't know what those should be. I can't advise anybody. On
Wear a mask. Socially distance. They're appropriate actions of it.
Get down on your knees and worship the NHS on Thursdays at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Take a knee for any nigger you see. And and say.
Does the clapping still happen anymore? Or has that just died out?
I don't know.
I think it's died out. I think
it happened last year in my street, but the enthusiasm soon waned as people lost their jobs.
I think you posted an article. I mean, was it whilst I was clapping outside, my girlfriend was sucking on the neighbour or something like that. It was,
oh, Jesus Christ, was it? Jesus Christ.
Did you post? I think you posted that on some stories. You've seen that somewhere.
Well, no less than they deserve.
How are you, Daisy, then, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still here.
I've got some other good films to look forward to over the week. There was a real good selection on the movies channel, so I don't know, but still haven't rewatched Johnny Mnemonic. I want to watch that again because that was better than Hackers.
There's a film out called Muscle You know the guy, where's the foot soldier, the fucking big cockney guy.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask, Ian. Have you seen Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage?
Crank, that sounds familiar.
Jason Statham. He's got to do stuff to keep his heart rate high, otherwise he'll die.
Yeah. He checks his misses on the race course.
That's Crank 2 High Voltage.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty good, actually.
She was asking him, why do you keep rubbing against people? It's like, it's friction, I've got to make the electricity keep the ticker going. She's like, oh, friction, yeah, I know how to give you friction. So she starts giving a lap dance, and then, like, the lap dance goes to, I know, let's have sex on the race course. And then the horses will just jump over us as they're galloping. And then there's, like, briefly you see, like, an erect horse cock, and I'm like, I don't think horses have their willies out when they're galloping. I mean, I used to go horse riding, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing.
It's a cows, I mean.
Stop it, man.
What? Hello. I'm still here.
Do you have your willy out when you're galloping?
No. No, I don't really feel like moving much when I have my willy out. Well, in certain ways, but I don't feel like travelling far, put it that way. I don't feel like travelling fast either. I think I'll just do this one load here, and then I'm going to call it a night for this. So it's a bit later than usual, I know. I'm trying to keep it for 7, but in this case everyone else was doing their streams, and I was really exhausted and tired. I sat down and I looked at all my handiwork, and I thought, you know what, I've done a good job there. Oh, of course there's trailer damage because I've gone over a stone in the road, so yep, trailer damage.
So Daisy, what do you think of Geralt then on that stream? What's your opinion on him?
Yeah, he was funny, wasn't he?
Just so you know, he's single, ready to mingle. So if you want his phone number, we can supply you with that.
He looks like a Packy Rouge fee.
Nope.
Whoops. Yeah, your internet's bad, Daisy.
You want talk, perchance?
It is happening a while.
Yep. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
You sound like a talking banjo, Daisy. It's probably the best way to describe it.
I hope people don't think I sound like this all the time, then. I don't know what's wrong with it today. I really don't.
Beats me. Drove my lorry.
It's probably the weather. So.
A lot of people indoors using the internet. Has anyone actually been to the pub? Because I've not been yet, and
I thought you had to beg to go to the pub.
and you have to do like track and trace. What if I just say, "Oh, sorry, I haven't got a phone"? What if?
No one would fucking believe that, mate.
What if I just, get a pencil and paper and write this pattern down?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have to actually do? Do they have to, like, any confirmation you've definitely downloaded the NHS Trace Me Every Fucking Step app, or is it just like, oh well, he took the phone out in front of the square, so he done it. Because if they're going to be really anal about this, but the other thing is you can't go indoors either. So like, what's the point? If you can't go indoors and it's like it's rain, I've seen people like they've been sat outside and it's been raining, it's been foggy, it's been windy, and I'm just like, why bother?
Because you can't use the toilet either. They just pump you full of fucking alcohol.
So what am I supposed to do when I've had 5 pints? I can't just piss on the police officer. They took that away as well. That's what they took away from it. There used to be in times of emergency you could ask for a policeman's hat to piss in.
No, I think that's only pregnant women, and I think even then it's only a...
I identify as a pregnant woman. Now give me your hat, officer.
Yeah.
And they don't even wear hats anymore, do they? Well, they wear those ridiculous baseball caps.
Why piss on a hat then when you just piss on the ground?
Why not piss in their mouth? That's what they deserve. If we can't urinate in the toilets, then we'll urinate on you, enforcer of the law. Oh, I don't make the laws, I just enforce them with sadistic glee.
Yeah.
Alright, well then you're going to become a public urinal. That's what should be happening to them. Get a knock on the door, it's like, you've been saying policemen should be used as a public urinal. Well, seeing as I can't use the facilities... Hello, me from half a second ago.
Yeah, Frithwolf said it needs to go chairs, microphones, and internet connections for racists.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna recycle elements of my old chair, which had nice casters on it, and I'm gonna put that into a new chair. I'm waiting for the woodworking bits to come through. Then I can I can take things apart and recycle the nuts and stuff. I need to slow down as well. And
What is that noise?
I wanted to say it's Phil thumping on his keyboard, but Daisy, you don't have a keyboard, do you?
Daisy on a Ouija board is some fucking devil.
Daisy's banging a phone to make the internet work better.
I just realised it's me.
Yes.
I just tried to Discord in your stream. Sorry, it was me.
Ah, so you was typing on the keyboard.
Typing on a phone.
I thought you were phone post. Wow.
No, I use a laptop.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, because I thought it was Phil typing away.
Phil's not here.
No, he's doing his mix at the moment.
Yeah.
I've got to fire up VCV rack one of these days, and I've got somewhere with it. And then someone was saying, "Oh yeah, here's how you create Vangelis brass horns. You do two sawtooths, one slight detune, put some reverb on it, and you do this thing with the EDSR envelope so it changes the filter, so that way the filter frequency cutoff goes up and down depending on like how long you've played the note." And I thought, all right, well I've done all that, and it sounds nothing like what you've described. The bit actually with the two sawtooths, one slightly detuned, that sounds pretty good. But as for the rest of it, dunno. Oh, but the main thing I wanted to do is I saw somebody, they were making like, they weren't even playing anything, they just programmed a bunch of stuff into it, and then it was playing for 4 hours. And it was quite beautiful what they were doing, and I thought to myself, I need to do that. I need to like use these modular synths to play something sort of random in the background whilst I'm playing something more ordered with the keyboard, and that way I'll have more interesting music than what I've been doing so far. But every time I get to that bit, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And
is everyone fucking lagging today?
Am I lagging?
No, you're not.
No, you're alright.
Yeah.
it's just Daisy's got the shit connection today.
You me as well.
Is it really? Hey, people in the
No,
chat.
Hobbit sounded fine for me just then.
Yeah,
Mate,
people in the
it's
chat,
colourful.
tell me if the stream's like lagging or not, because it's saying it's uploading at more than 6,000 kbps to YouTube, so I think ENA might be getting internet issues.
Internet tissues.
Yeah, issues with tissues. There's no hot water at the moment. That's a bugger. I mean there is, but it's really tepid. There's not been much of a fire going. I wanted to have a wash, but I mean when it's with cold water, having a wash with that doesn't work. I mean your pores don't open up in cold water.
Yeah.
So this idea of cold showers is like you're not going to get clean doing a cold shower.
You're not following the Joey Owens cold shower too much.
Cold showers are a con anyway. It's just masochism.
Charlie needs a cold shower, doesn't he? After looking at Fashi's fitness.
He looks fucking ill, doesn't he?
He does a bit, doesn't he? He's not weldy. He's not weldy, old boy, is he?
No, but that's what you get when you're on a steroid cycle.
So he gets fat in it all the time. Literally looks like a human.
Someone said something about a rusty bicycle. I thought it was a sex maneuver because Charlie's boyfriend had done on him. That's how he got AIDS.
Ugh. Ugh.
Charlie, big potato.
Nearly there. Fuck.
Go Charlie, it's your birthday.
Just drive in the middle of the road where you're not going to get clipped on the concrete barrier.
I mean, what is that Fashi's fitness all about? It seems to have very little to do with fitness.
Someone said that Vinny was doing the same in the chat earlier as well. Someone said that he's got some kind of channel that's doing similar.
Who is?
Vinny Sullivan.
Vinny, oh, God. Vinny's just Poundland Collet, isn't he?
Fucking crash.
Does VCV Rec come with pre-made synths and effects Hobbit? Yeah.
Do you think Vinny looks like Crash Bandicoot?
It's a completely free software. You've got all sorts of modules on it. The VCV themselves make things like voltage-controlled oscillators and filters and ADCR envelopes. Then there's a bunch of third-party modules as well, and it's great. As for pre-made synths and effects, it depends what you mean by effects. Like if you mean things like a reverb, no, you'd have to look into a third party for that. It's an interesting way they fund themselves as well, because there was this one thing like a chord sequencer, and you could pay $20 for the module, and it's a very interesting thing. So it's completely free, but some modules you have to pay for. And as for synths, no, it's a modular synth. So like a sound engine is another way you describe it, where you're just buying the thing what makes the noises, and then you have to plug in your own MIDI controllers into it. The nice thing about it is it does something called virtual MIDI. So if you've got a keyboard, a game controller, you can use that in the game, and that's what I've been doing. The steering wheel I use the foot pedals as foot pedals to control various aspects of the modules in it. So it's free, vcvrack.com, thoroughly recommend it. The nicest thing I'd say about it is you get an oscilloscope where you can do an XY comparison, which makes these sort of 3D shapes. They're very useful because if you're trying to detune something, you can normally do, well, I say you can do it by ear. It really depends what sort of ear you've got. But if you're not sure, you can just look at the XY comparator and you can sort of see if it's going to be in tune or not.
That reminds me, I watched Idiocracy the other day. I finally understood your nickname, Not Sure.
Not Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good film, that is. That's it. I'm done now. I don't want to do any more driving. I'm absolutely worn out after today. load of DIY done, but hey, it got both speakers up. Just got to wire the damn things up, and I need to get my subwoofer back. So